Hey friends in the world of the internet, this is another video by me, Dr. Zachary Ward. I am an upper cervical structural chiropractor in Auburn Hills, Michigan, doing a series of videos called Alignment Matters. And today we're talking about a subject that has gained me a lot of views online on my practice website, and that is cervical curve and how we might be able to improve or even correct a cervical curve, even a reverse cervical curve. One of the most popular articles I have online, which you may be on right now because I will post this video to that page, is about the cervical curve. So we're going to talk about the cervical curve and look at some of the reasons why the cervical curve matters. First, let's talk about a few ideas that root what we're doing. The spine does have an ideal shape. It's made to occupy a certain place in time and move a certain way. It has movable parts that we call joints. These are made up of the bones, muscles, ligaments, and the discs in between those bones. How these joints interact with each other over the whole spine, how they work together as a whole, will affect the spinal cord, the spinal nerves, and the fluids of the spine. So a loss of curve is associated with a number of different issues in human health. The most common, the most likely that someone will walk in with complaining about and connected to the curve are head pain, neck pain, shoulder pains, arm and hand pain, just any of the symptoms that we would associate maybe with a thoracic outlet syndrome or a neuropathy or a paresthesia, particularly within the hands or the arms. That just means numbness or tingling. Headaches of all kinds and varieties actually can come from a reverse curve in the neck, even the oddball headache varieties. Then we also have effects on the spinal cord, the spinal veins, the veins especially that drain the brain potentially, and then artery stress as well, which we'll talk about here in a little while. So I just want to throw up a few images here. There's an idea out there that's kind of advocated by folks in the skeptic community, which usually train their big guns and support on little guys like me and other all health practitioners, instead of actually dealing with the reality of some of the things that should be spoken about within medicine. They like to pick on guys like us. And they say that, well, chiropractors can't affect alignment. And so I like to throw up some of these images every once in a while on social media and have this kind of provocative one correction title on there. And the reason for that is this is in fact a change that occurred in this individual in one correction. And this isn't something that I'm going to advertise is going to happen for everybody. Certainly not something that we're hoping to get for everybody, but I knew as soon as I worked with this gal that this is what happened, and so I took the post film to verify that and double check my work. She had a kind of boring pain behind her right scapula, had been working previously with some really great chiropractors, and for whatever reason I just found something that maybe somebody else had missed, and we got her unlocked in this way. Hopefully you can see the way that her neck is relatively straight on that image on the left, and it's unlocked in the image on the right. And here's another one of my provocative one correction images. This young man, late teens, just neck that's really suffering, really struggling. You can take a look at this and see the way that the overall shape of this guy is to go back like that. Just to give you an idea, in a healthy normal cervical curve, it would be bending this way. So we have a reverse cervical curve. It's actually happening in the upper cervical spine between C2, C3, and C4. That places a lot of stress on the spinal cord. It will impact areas of the spinal cord further up as it goes up into the brain. Again, one correction. I felt a great release with this one. I had, based on postural feedback and how his head had shifted, I knew that we had probably unlocked this considerably. I did not consider this much change to be possible, but yet it was. And I like to throw this one up just so people can kind of see that even in a really what we call quote unquote bad case, he did respond. This loss of curve was reduced quite a bit. This reversal of cervical curve was not taken completely out of reversal, but it was made to be almost straight, which is a great change. He was dealing with constant chronic neck pain, also some issues with mood and anxiety. We also see that as well. Now this one isn't as dramatic, and this isn't a one correction situation either. This was taken several months later, I believe something like 4 or 5 months. Not a loss of cervical curve, but it is still there. I just want to point out how the curve affects the position of the atlas vertebrae. The atlas vertebra is here at the top of the neck, and it's kind of oriented like this. I'm not very good at drawing with this tool. If we look at this, you're going to kind of see how that has more of an upward angle to it. That creates a lot more space at the back of the head for the passage of the spinal cord, which travels down through here. So space is smaller over here than it is here. Again, I draw attention to this space here versus over here. You're going to see how in the image on the right, increasing that curvature creates more space for this area where the spinal cord leaves the bottom of the skull. Moving on to the next image, I just thought I would throw this one in here so you could see how functionally the loss of curve affects movement. This is a gentleman who's trying to extend his neck. He really cannot extend his neck at all. He only has a straight neck in extension. When his neck is, when he's looking straight ahead, there is no curve at all. There's actually a reverse curve. This was him on the 1st of August a couple of years ago. This is him on the 18th of August 2014. You can see a dramatic improvement in the mobility of the neck. Why that's important is because neck joints rely on movement in order to be fully fed by the body. So as you begin to lose movement in the neck, you begin to have joint breakdown. The joint surfaces, rather than being nice and smooth and shiny like ice, become inflamed and irritated, and over time, some say within a matter of weeks, you have enough, start to get enough of a buildup of inflammatory chemicals that you're going to start the process that's going to initiate depositing new bone, new calciums, etc., creating what we call degenerative or arthritic changes. Moving on, case of reverse cervical curve. Hopefully you can see the obvious shift that has happened between here and here. This is about 4 weeks of care. This is a woman with a lot of upper back pain, some hormonal issues related to menstrual cycle, and some low back pain. These are the changes that occurred after about 4 weeks. We'll be following out with her and see what happens. Also want to draw attention to this again. Look, if you will, at the top, the lack of space there is between the bottom of the skull, the top of the neck, here and here, and it's certainly not perfect yet, but there's more space being created in this area. And this is where we get into that concept of cerebral spinal fluid and veins and arteries. Is there's a lot of fluid that has to spin through here that requires space. There's a lot of fluid that has to drain in through here, arteries that require space. And then there's arteries, intervertebral arteries, which travel up the neck, actually inside the bone, and those require blood pressure to push that blood up into the brain. Something along the lines of just a little over 60% of that blood, maybe 66%, is going to be coming from those intervertebral arteries. Well, when you have a reverse cervical curve or a loss of curve, they can look at the amount of force that's required to push that blood up into the skull. The amount of blood that goes up into the skull and the force that's required actually has to increase in order for that blood to get up into the brain. So just something to consider. Long-term health effects on the brain, and supplying that oxygen, particularly to the lower brainstem, may require a healthy cervical curve, and it may be one reason why we see atherosclerotic plaquing or buildup of those cholesterol plaques in some of the arteries of the neck in those who have a loss of cervical curve and forward head posture. One more case here. I just throw this one in here because we unlock the spine in the way that I usually do. This one isn't quite as dramatic as the other ones. Again, this is a single correction, but there is a release in the C5. In this case, didn't have a lot of neck pain, but she did have low back and knee pain. Low back and knee pain resolved with getting the neck corrected in this way. Hello, and again, my name is Dr. Zachary Ward at Life and Alignment Chiropractic. I'm a structural upper cervical chiropractor, and if you are in my area and you want to learn more, you are certainly welcome to call me at this number, 248-598-4002. You can also hop online to liachiro.com and read the articles there about the process. Alignment does matter. Chiropractors, when they are doing their job and due diligence, can change alignment, and it does matter to human health. Thank you so much. Have a great day.